certificate of completion of specialist training in geriatric medicine and internal medicine from the London Dairy of the United Kingdom. She's the CEO of the JBS Medicare Services, the leading private elderly healthcare service in Nigeria. She's also the founder and the MD of the newly opened JBS Gerontology Center, Lekki, Lagos, the first private geriatric hospital and specialist center in Nigeria. The JBS Gerontology Center, the JBS Gerontology Center boasts of the first Dementia Day Activities Units, Memory Day Units in Nigeria, as well as all specialist inpatient and outpatient facilities for older adults. She is also the chairperson, founder of JBS Elderly Health and Wellbeing Foundation Africa. The foundation's Adopt a Grant program caters for the underprivileged elderly in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. In 2017, she was appointed as visiting consultant geriatrician at the CTA Geriatric Center, UCH Ibadan, by the Honorable Minister of Health of Nigeria. She has lectured at the annual basic certificate course in geriatric medicine, which is held at the University College Hospital in Ibadan. She's the editor of the Elder Aging Digest, a quarterly newsletter on healthy aging. She's the convener of the Elder Aging Conference, which had its first event on the 1st of October 2019 in Lagos, Nigeria, and which now holds annually. She has received several awards for her contribution to the healthcare of the Nigerian British community, both in the UK and in Nigeria. She's married to an obstetrician and gynecologist, and she's a mom of 4. She's an avid traveler. She's an avid traveler and has been to the 7 continents, including the Antarctica, and 70 countries. Wow. I present to you Dr. Toyin Akande-Ajala.
What would I be pointing to?
No, okay.
Oh, should I go to the front? Okay, sorry, yes.
So this takes.
Okay, I need to do this.
It's easier for that.
But how will I point? What would I point to? Because the screen is there. I can't. Yes.
So if you press this, it goes to the next.
Oh.
So at least you can see your next screen.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, National Orthopedic Hospital, for inviting me. I am truly honored. Truly honored. And MD, I flew very far to come here for this today. As you know, I go back and forth, so I do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and I made sure I was here for today because this, I think, is exceptional. Thank you. So the title of my lecture is Optimizing Aging. I am a very avid healthy aging person. I find, since I came to Nigeria in 2018 to set up JBS Medicare Services, I found that, things were not what I was expecting. There was just so much frailty, a lot of dementia, just lots of things that really we need to do something about right now. So the topic of my lecture is the recipe for aging well and longevity in Nigeria. So I hope I'll be able to do this justice with all the research I've done. Okay, so what have I done wrong? This one?
Yes.
Okay, I hope you can all see my slides. first of all, we've got to talk about the statistics. So the latest statistics that I found talking about the population of Nigeria and the population of the elderly in Nigeria puts the population of Nigeria at 206 million. That was February 1st, 2022. Now, with the recent elections and polls, I'm not sure whether we're up to that, but that's what we have in terms of statistics. Of that population, we have 9.4 million who are over the age of 60. That's what we have as the current statistics. So we're saying approximately 5% of the population are over the age of 60. It is postulated that by 2050, in Nigeria, we'd have more than 26 million of the population who are over 60. And if you compare that to the UK, in the UK, there's going to be, in 2050, about 23 million over the age of 60. So by 2050, and there are quite a lot of us here who would, by God's grace, be here in 2050, would have an elderly population that is more than the elderly population in the UK. So just as a comparison, right now, and we're talking about geriatricians, fully trained geriatricians practicing in Nigeria, the stats say there are 7 to 9 of us, 2 of us are in the room. So if you have 7 to 9 geriatricians as of this minute practicing in Nigeria, I personally know only 4. Then for a population of 26 million, we're in trouble. In the UK, as of this minute, there are over 1,700 geriatricians for their population of elderly people. So we have a long way to go. When in 2011, geriatricians were practically non-existent in Nigeria, and that was one of the calls for me to come and set up this elderly healthcare service in Nigeria. So before we talk about aging well, I want to talk about the consequences of not aging well, because we all need to know what we need to be avoiding before we know what we want to actually aspire to. How many of the people in this room want to live to 100? How many? Okay. A lot of people. You want to live to 100. Living to 100 is great. I mean, yes, you can live to 100, but you don't want to live to 100 in ill health. You don't want to live to 100 with frailty. And what I've put up here is the consequence of not aging well. So if, just looking at the people who put their hands up, most of you are between 30 and 40. I noticed that the slightly older people did not put their hands up. Maybe because it's the National Orthopedic Hospital and you've seen a lot of comorbidities. So to get to 100 in the state that you want to, in a state of wellness, you've got to do certain things. There's something called frailty. I put it up there. It's busy. Frailty is defined, and I'm just going to read it, as a state of physical or emotional weakness and vulnerability, characterized by a diminished capacity to withstand stressors or to recover from illness. This makes individuals susceptible to adverse health outcomes and reduced quality of life. And there are frailty syndromes that we identify in frail elderly people, people with delirium, falls, incontinent. They take some medication, they have multiple side effects, they're immobile with the consequences of that. So that is what we want to avoid. We want to avoid this condition called frailty. We want to age well so that, when we're old, when the insults and injuries come, our bodies are able to withstand it and, recover. On this topic of frailty, I just put up here just for information. In the UK, we use something called the Rockwood Clinical Frailty Score. What we want to age in such a way that we're a score of 1 to 3. Even though they say 1 to 4 is healthy, that's the healthy elderly. You really want to be between 1 to 3. You want to be very fit, physically, mentally, emotionally fit. So you want to be between 1 to 3. That's what we're aiming for. That's why we're here today, this morning, to learn how to get to that 1 to 3 state. And this is the reason why, because you see, when you have a fit older person, so a fit older person is someone with a Rockwood score of 1 to 4. when things happen, they have an infection. This is a national orthopedic hospital. You see people with falls, with fractures. When the fit elderly, when they fall,